Today, we have an absolutely amazing episode of what has now become required viewing non-fungible Tuesdays. That's right. In just a few short weeks, this segment has rapidly become a crowd favorite. And today we have an absolutely jam-packed show. We have not one, but two guests who are gurus in the NFT space that are going to be walking us through specific projects and on-chain metrics and helping us see through the noise and understand what's happening here in NFT land. Now, if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see me, go ahead and destroy that like button because we have so much quality and high quality content and information to show you. I'm trying out a new streaming service, so let me know if everything's coming in loud and clear. I'm going to be bringing on some guests and experimenting with some new features, and I hope it's exciting for you guys. We're going to start with some major crypto news. We're going to work through a massive hack. We're going to update you on the crypto infrastructure bill and then dive into some nonstop NFT action. You guys are going to love this one, so go ahead and destroy that like button if you haven't already and get ready for an amazing non-fungible Tuesdays. Now, remember, we're going to be keeping you up to date and ahead of the market each and every step. And if you guys want this information first, then I highly recommend that you subscribe and put that bell notification on. The bell is really your friend and helps you get around any gatekeeping, which is very common here on social media for these big platforms to gatekeep crypto content. So make sure you have that bell on if you want this information first to help you get ahead of some of these mind-bending and astronomical trends that we're seeing here in NFT land, including people selling, yes, NFTs for over 1 million% gains. That's right. We have million% gainers here in NFT land. So let's dive in right now. I hope you guys have smashed the like. I hope you guys are ready. And let's dive in here to the first segment. All righty. So here we are, and on the background here, what we can see here is a Fidenza. This is a Fidenza in the background. This is my Art Blocks Fidenza. I hope you guys like it. It's a recent purchase of mine, and we actually have a Fidenza expert to bring you guys through why I chose this and really what the significance of this project is. But what's important here is that if you guys want to potentially win a very important NFT at the end of the episode, we're going to be giving away some awesome NFTs worth over 1.5 or about 0.15 Ethereum. So that's about $400 worth of giveaway per NFT we're going to be giving away. All you have to do is go to my page here, retweet, and leave your Ethereum address. And that way people can know about this content. Again, the easiest way that people find out about this content is if you smash the like button. But if you comment under this tweet and retweet it, you can be entered to win for the giveaway at the end of the episode. You're definitely going to want to win these NFTs. Now, first, let's start off with the breaking news of the day. Or this isn't breaking news, but we have a golden cross looming. Now, I find this funny because we just had a death cross, what felt like a couple of days ago. And now we have the golden cross here that we're anticipating, showing that this isn't really a bear market, but just a corrective move. And that these corrective moves in this market are actually very brutal and will make you question your commitment to this industry. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. And it flushes out the short-term speculators. It leaves the strong-handed in, and it essentially rewards the patient, transfers money from the impatient to the patient. I'm not going to go too deep into BTCTA, but as you can see, things are looking very, very green. Although we are in bull trap territory, it's worth noting that we could be in a massive bull trap if things get confirmed here, and especially if we break through 50. It looks like we're making new all-time highs, and it's open season once again. Now, the big news out of the day today is that hackers stole $600 million in a Poly network exploit. Now, we're going to go through exactly what happened here without taking too much time because it's actually pretty crazy. So there's something, we're actually going to cover this in a second. So Poly Network was hacked for over $600 million. Now, Poly Network is a cross-chain bridge that allows for you to transfer tokens through a custodial solution, which should be a decentralized solution, and allows for those chains to exist or those coins to exist on multiple networks. It's a very common way to get tokens from Ethereum to BSC, Polygon, or in this case, other chains. Now, Poly Network hasn't even verified their contracts on Ethereum, so it's tedious to analyze. But here's the current thoughts from Mudit Gupta, who's saying this was not a DeFi or smart contract hack, but a traditional key compromise. And that is actually really unfortunate because traditional key compromises infer that you could have prevented this with some simple OPSEC. So this is a very an important realization that it's not like things were just hacked here. This was actually just sort of an operational issue. Anyway, so the smart contract requires a majority of keepers to sign an action for it to execute, basically a multi-sig. That's cool, but I think we can all agree that a multi-sig should have more than one signers. So in this case, the multi-sig actually just had one signer, and that is not the preferred method. The point of a multi-sig is that there's not one point of failure, that if somebody points a gun at someone's head, that they alone can't move the funds. And so it seems that they used a single keeper, and that keeper had control over all the funds. The hacker probably had got hold of that keeper's key via traditional hacks, meaning like essentially like social engineering. It's also possible that someone within the team colluded with the hacker. This needs thorough investigation. And so this is the thing. These things can be inside jobs. But the point is, even if things are an inside job, if you have a proper multi-sig, then it doesn't matter because then you need many people inside to actually make it happen. And it usually doesn't go down that way. Anyway, the hacker used the keeper's key to sign the instructions that ordered the smart contract to transfer all funds to the hacker. Smart contract got verified. The smart contract verified the signature, and since only one signature was required, it processed the request. Now, Box Mining is saying that he actually was farming on Ontology and had a lot of assets there. I know he had been an early Ontology supporter, so he said he's lost a big chunk of crypto here. So even the most experienced people can be outed by this and can be taken surprised by this. Now, in going into this in more detail, what we see crazily is that here, since the theft, actually Tether froze the funds, $33 million worth of funds, and they were actually able to identify the hacker. So Slow Mist has sent out a news alert saying that they have tracked down the attacker's ID and claim they know the email address, IP information, and device fingerprint. So probably enough, especially given how much funding is on the line here to find this person. It's pretty crazy, absolutely insane, to be honest. And apparently they used an account that was linked to a KYC'd account on FTX and Binance. So it's like they really didn't think this one through. Anyway, it seems like they're going to catch this person. Anyway, nothing is guaranteed as a CZ setup here. But the point is that everyone is really collectively trying to help catch this person and undo some of the damage. But this is absolutely a huge piece of news. But actually, there might be some really big, some really amazing things that are gained and learned from it. So it would be a pretty amazing realization to see that some good was actually done here, that we could actually reverse this wrong. Anyway, that's the big news of the day with the DeFi hack. And now we have Jake Sherman, who's saying here the update on the infrastructure bill is that Senator Shelby, the one who blocked the infrastructure bill that had the amendment that we needed, apparently supports the bill, which is like, what planet are we on that this is what's happening? But he blocked the bill because he simply didn't get what he wanted for the military defense budget. So he actually supports the bill. So we have a world where, tragically and ironically, a bill that everyone supports and is logical is not going to get through due to procedural hangups, or in this case, a meaningful or some kind of addition to the defense budget. Very, very sad stuff. We'll see what happens here. But I asked Jake Chervinsky, who's been the lawyer following this. He's the head of legal or the legal team at Compound Finance, which of course is one of the biggest DeFi protocols and very, very highly involved in helping cultivate the proper regulation in Washington. And so I tagged Jake and I said, hey, can we get a sense of what happens next with the infra bill? He said, next it goes to the House, which is in recess until September 20th. Now, I do like this because this gives us some time here to continue to rabble rouse and get our senators at least paying attention and somewhat trying to acknowledge what should be the case here. So we'll see if we can get this fixed. We have quite some time now, over a month, to try to make our voices heard again. I think it's going to be positive, but at the same time, he says we'll fight for a fix there, but it's possible that there will be no amendments allowed. See below, We'll have no control over that given broader politics at play. It'll be months before it passes. So there's still hope, albeit it's dwindling, and we still have raised a ton of understanding about what's wrong with this bill, and hopefully we can get things amended and fixed in the near future. So that's what's going on right now with the market-wide update. We have insane bullishness as Ethereum fees have started to skyrocket. The smell of Ethereum burning can be detected across the entire world. And leading the charge here as far as altcoins is Axie Infinity. Now, I mentioned Axie looked ready to pop again. And just look at this chart. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane how almost every peak here is met with just a bubbling up. It just does not want to stay put. It's broken out of all of its TA memes. And it just has added, I think, about $1 billion in market cap in the last day. Up about 31%. Axie is going to lead the entire gaming space, in my opinion. And so I would look for other gaming coins to become hot again now that Axie has once again broken out. I think it's up now, over 10x, I believe, since we started talking about this earlier in the summertime. And it's fantastic to see this growth. So Axie is really showing what's possible with video games and NFTs and crypto when they're all wrapped together. And what we're seeing is a complete gold rush into NFTs and gaming. I told you guys this would happen. I've been saying it for years, and Axie Infinity is proving it out. But what's even crazier is knowing that Axie Infinity is almost like a rewrapped DeFi application. And that it's all about yield is what's driving a lot of people through the Axie Infinity ecosystem. And so I'm excited to see more different and diverse types of gameplay coming up. And yes, as many people keep asking, we are very close to showing the trailer for the new video game coming to Super Farm. This is something that's been in the works for years. And again, gaming is something that you cannot just quickly come up and conjure up. It's not a copy paste thing that you can do like with DeFi, how you can just fork other people's code. So what we'll see is that some people and game studios will be able to get in on this action, but it's clear that everyone will be considering how to do it because this trend with Axie Infinity, the multi-billion-dollar behemoth trend, is not going away anytime soon. It's very, very fascinating. And Axie Infinity is most certainly the story of the summer, along with, of course, JPEG Mania. Now, if we look here on the total, on the coin categories, we see gaming leading the way, mostly due to the Axie bump. We see social money, metaverse, fan tokens, analytics, Polygon, yield farming. A lot of these are NFT related. I even see, personally, fan tokens as kind of like a cousin of NFTs. So it's very, very interesting to see this. Again, gaming, I believe, will be a leader ongoing for many, many years. So that's just my prediction. And we can come back and re-examine this. And obviously, when you see the actual gaming category, Axie actually leads it, and it's got such a ridiculous market cap here. It's Axie dominance. I'd love to see an Axie dominance stat, but I bet it's ridiculous how dominant Axie is. And then if we want to see broader market-wide trends here for NFTs, we see OpenSea absolutely crushing it with their volume, currently doing about $60 to $70 million in daily volume with tens of thousands, 67,000 transactions. Absolutely insane, the level of volume and activity going on OpenSea. This is nothing short of an NFT revolution. And so to bring some clarity here, because this has just been your quick update, the quick back-to-back data-driven update, news updates, it's time for us to go deep and do something that I've been excited about for quite some time. So what I want to do now is bring on an expert, someone who helped me get into a foremost and important pioneering collection in NFT land. Now, I'm not by trade or by habit or by practice a big art collector. However, what's going on in NFTs kind of forces you to learn about art, collections, scarcity, cultural, trading, artifacts, whatever you want to call them. And so I started digging in and learning from people that I believed could bring on and add a ton of value. And what I found was there were some people who add tremendous amount of educational value. I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of super chats before I do this, but we're about to bring on Bonafide Han, who is someone who has helped me so much understand this movement of NFTs and specifically art NFTs. Quickly going to check out some super chats. I want to ask you, Elio, what's your opinion on Meta Hero Universe? I'll get to that at the end of the episode. What's your thought on Avagachi Ghost? I will look at that as well. I've covered Avagachi several times on this channel. And finally, Do Kwon announced a Call 5 update governance. Voice hits tomorrow. Be ETH approved for Anchor Protocol. This is pretty wordy, Mitchell. Sorry. Yeah, Luna's amazing. I'm a big fan. Anyway, so we're going to hop in now And please, if you guys are excited to learn about an amazing project called Art Blocks, one of the foremost popular and pioneering projects in the NFT space, please destroy that like button because we have a very special guest on with us today. I'm going to be putting on my headphones so I can hear him. And let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Bonafide Han. How's it going, Han? Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Aleo. Super excited to be here.
Amazing. Everybody, how's the sound coming in? Can we hear and see Han very well? Is it all going to plan? If you can see and you can hear Han, go ahead, smash that like button. And of course, make sure that you put your Ethereum address below that tweet because you want to be entered to win the giveaway. All righty. It looks like we're good to go. Amazing. Han, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Amazing, man. So first of all, I just want to start by at the beginning here, which is we met when I started talking about art blocks, and you really helped me get into this world. But could you start by introducing yourself and how you got into NFTs?
Sure. By the way, your updates, so much energy. Loved it. I learned a lot, actually, by listening to it.
Thank you.
So super excited to be here. Let's see. So an intro for myself. I'm a startup founder by day, and by night, I'm an NFT collector. And I got into these NFTs pretty recently. It's only been 2 months since I got into this thing, and it has consumed my non-work life. And I did this by aping into what are called fidenzas. So fidenzas are these art pieces that are part of art blocks. And so at the time, I piled a lot of money into the thing, and the result is I built this great collection, and I can show it to you in a moment.
Yeah, we'd love that. I think everyone's dying to see it. I was going to start bringing them up here, but then I'll just let you go ahead and lead the way.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So share screen.
So why fidenzas? Like, what brought you to fidenzas? Obviously, this is part of the larger series, the larger story here. But what attracted you to the fidenzas, which before meeting you, I actually didn't know anything about. So I would appreciate if you sort of helped the audience go through the journey that I went through to understand that, hey, this is actually really cool and important.
Exactly. I'd love to tell you more. So here's the way to think about it. So looking at this gallery now, they look like traditional art, and you can see a beauty to it. And there's very many interesting patterns to these things. And I want to introduce first what art blocks means. That's when it kind of gets mind-bending. So this is my gallery. I'll come back to it. Let me start with art blocks and why it's so interesting. So let's go to the 176, Fidenza 176 that you bought. And here's the beautiful 176 in its full glory, high resolution. The thing is, if you look behind it, this is actually the Fidenza algorithm, which produces 176. So how it works is that every single set of art that is created in art blocks, it is an algorithm that the artist creates. And your particular beauty that comes out, 176, is just one constant which is applied to the algorithm, and this art is the thing that is rendered. This JPEG is actually not stored anywhere. You can generate it from Ethereum at any time based on the algorithm. And what you're seeing is what I call eternal art. As long as Ethereum exists, this art will always be available. And so that's the mind-bending thing that I realized when I dug into art blocks.
So first of all, is it just one constant or is it a series of constants? And for those of you who aren't, math people, a constant is just a number, and it's just a series of numbers that you plug into a formula, and it creates all these wildly different results. Now, that's exciting and interesting, but I think that what's really at play here is the concept of immutability and eternal art, right? This isn't an image, like you said, that's being stashed or saved on IPFS. This isn't even a decentralized storage saving an image. This is actually just code on the blockchain. So in theory, you never even need image storage here for this art to live forever. And that's part of what makes this special, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We as a civilization have always pursued building eternal things. Whether it's some lineage, whether it's art, whether it's a government or people, we have always tried to create eternal things. With blockchains, we actually have a chance of building something eternal. And on top of it, on top of that medium, an art is emerging that will become eternal. Right now, we're witnessing the rise of eternal art, these artifacts that are being created right now. How much can they be worth in the future? They will become stupendous amounts of money because they will be the artifacts of this society. That's why it's so interesting, this part.
And why will these be the artifacts over, say, something else that's not purely code on Ethereum? And obviously, we believe that a lot of different types of NFTs will be valuable. But what's so special here, and why? You used the term "book of truth" with me when we were talking. Can you talk a little bit about what this whole concept of the book of truth is, and how this fits together with your theory that these will become cultural artifacts?
Sure. So let me show you several examples. So here's an example of a Fidenza that recently sold for 100 Ethereum, and I would consider this to be one of the grails of Ethereum, of our blocks.
And when you say grail, what do you mean?
A grail. So holy grail. So it is a word that us collectors use to identify works that are truly special in that collection. So, for example, 938, in addition to 612, I think are one of the two grails of Fidenzas. And here is 360 of Ringers, which, by the way, recently sold for 375 Ethereum. And it represents, I believe, the height of Ringers. You can almost see it as this contained explosion that is captured in a moment of time, and you see it. And this is what I call a grail of Ringers. And of course, the cube in archetype. This is another grail of archetypes. And going back to why these are the artifacts that are being created, society has always created beauty, and they in turn become stores of value. And we've seen that in traditional art, where you find the Da Vinci and it turns out to be a $450 million piece. And somebody pays that willingly, with the expectation, actually, that it's going to be worth a lot more in the future. And so throughout our eras, beauty has always risen, and we have identified those, and they eventually turn into stores of value. In every medium that rises, there's always stores of value that appear. And based on the past, it has always been about beautiful things. And with art blocks, it is a question that many may have, but the collectors, the serious collectors that have risen here, they identify these things as beautiful. And to be frank, like, this is beautiful. These things will be desired by people with money. And they will end up in museums. Same thing for 938.
So look, I see the spiral. It's got a lot of complex beauty. Now on its face, I'd like to understand why Fidenzas are so important, and then what are the importance of the other collections? Because Art Blocks continues to release collections. So if I'm a collector, you want to have some sense of scarcity, right? Like, how do I know that there's scarcity involved here if there's more and more collections coming out? And why are the Ringers getting people's attention, or why are the Fidenzas getting people's attention? What are the unique qualities of them?
Let's dive into Fidenzas. So here is an example of the underlying flow field of a Fidenza. This is the crux, and this is why it provides that that flow, provides that beauty that comes into a Fidenza. And the interesting thing about Fidenzas is that the diversity of Fidenzas is incredible. You can look at any individual Fidenza and essentially identify it by its properties, and I can actually recognize almost all of them. The diversity, the uniqueness of the algorithm in producing identifiable works has actually, in my opinion, has not been done before. So it's incredible that you can see every single work that has been created and identify it what happens is that with generative art, what Tyler did was over 2 months, he tailored the algorithm such that uh, the outputs that did not look great were fixed. So he had a 750 line, he ended up with a 750 line algorithm, but he continuously tuned it until it got to the point where it got to this level of beauty. Um, the other thing that I'll say about Fidenzas is, for me, it strikes at something really interesting. Fidenzas, in its entirety, represent some of these styles of the masters of our past 3 to 4 centuries of artists. And somehow Tyler captured in a single 750 line algorithm, I believe, some entirety of human creativity in that way. How in the world does one algorithm produce that kind of diversity and recognizability, and essentially captured human creativity in art in so many of the years that we have tried to do this thing? And so that's why for Fidenzas in particular, I believe that the algorithm will be studied by art historians and students, and why I fell in love with these so quickly.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I think the beauty is there to see. I personally, after browsing the Fidenza collection, started to become a little bit addicted to it myself. I did spend quite a bit on my Fidenzas, so I wasn't in a rush to spend that much again, but I kind of wanted to. I wanted to get more and more. So I understand the desire to collect and that compulsion. But what makes Fidenzas versus ringers versus squiggles versus the cubes, at a certain level, like which ones are, more important and why? Like, why would one be more important than the other? And why are Fidenzas going to hold their value versus maybe some new algorithm that comes around tomorrow?
Right. The scarcity question and how do you get started in AB? Scarcity, here's the thing. It is very hard to create great generative art. Whether it's archetype, whether it's Fidenzas, whether it's ringers, it is very hard. And so the question of scarcity is not really a question in my mind. The question is, how many great artists are out there? And that is a very low number, I think. I think everyone has the potential to become one, but the kind of dedication, the kind of opportunity just has to meld into one to create that. So that's the scarcity answer. In terms of where to get started in AB, AB is a place for everyone. So you can buy art that is 0.1 Ethereum or less, or you could buy art that is several hundred Ethereum. And so to get started, I advise people the following. Buy art that you love. So when you look at something, every piece of art will strike a person differently. And if you love that piece of art, then that's the right art for you. In terms of whether it'll hold value, whether it'll appreciate, a lot of those things you cannot predict. Blue chips, for example, AB blue chips, like ringers, like Fidenzas, I believe they will hold value. Like, these are heights of achievement in generative art that has been created for a medium that is perfect for blockchains. And so on-chain artifacts that are being created, those will be blue chips. And if you can buy one, if you have the liquidity to buy one, I would say it's a good time to buy. I think it'll be astronomical what these artifacts will be worth in the future. But Art Blocks is a place for everyone. If you find art that you love, I think that's the one for you.
So what you'd say is that all of these are experiments that in theory should appreciate. So really it's about what appeals to you as an individual is your advice.
There are several things there. So with art, if you can predict what will 1,000 million % appreciate, then you will make a lot of money in NFTs. That's the hard part. So the thing that you have to do I believe in NFTs is have an expectation that some of the art is not going to make it. A decade later, what art will remain? 3 decades later, what art will remain? If you are serious about trying to preserve value, then yes, blue chips is probably the best. But on the other hand, they will be expensive. Now,
And it probably won't grow as fast as, you know, the newer one that reaches a blue chip status, right? There's like always the low cap gems, as we would call normally in the fungible world. You know, there's sort of these new projects, the new mint season, when you get in and you mint and you don't know, you know, what you're going to get. That's kind of like buying at the initial price, or buying at the basement, hoping that it becomes something significant. So why? I still think we need to answer this question. Why are fidenzas, you describe them to me as the holy grail of art blocks? Why?
That's a very subjective answer that I'll give you. I love fidenzas because they're beautiful, and it's really hard to explain. They will speak differently to other people. There is a blue chip row of art in AB, and they all speak to people differently. For me, I'm a fidenza fan, but you talk to a ringers expert and fan, and they will say the same about ringers being the holy grail. And I couldn't argue with them. I think ringers are beautiful too. And so, in terms of what to buy and what to do inside of AB, which I believe is an institution that is being created right now, all of these art houses that have been created, whether it's museums, art houses, foundations, you're witnessing AB becoming an institution. It's being birthed right now. And so you're getting on the ground floor of a lot of great art that's been created. And it will be a whole new generation, I think, like the generative art period that is being created in front of your eyes. And to get started, probably the best thing is to join the Discord on AB and just like absorb all the information. There is such an amazing community in AB. I personally believe that it is probably the best community in crypto in terms of friendliness, welcome, like how much we welcome everyone, how open we are and transparent we are with like what we think about things. Join the Discord, have a conversation, and I think you'll find the art that fits you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I agree. You know, when I joined the Discord, granted, I did make a big Fidenza purchase, but everyone was so welcoming. And I've joined a lot of communities in crypto. And I will say this was one of the warmest welcomes I've ever gotten, was the Art Blocks community. And people just seem genuinely excited to be sharing. I will say that NFT communities in general have a staggeringly strong community element. And that was very true of Art Blocks. I certainly hope fidenzas are the holy grail, but it is very interesting to be playing around here. I also bought some squiggles because to me, I think squiggles are almost like the meme of art blocks. They're like, it's so simple, and that almost deceives you into thinking it can't be valuable. And you know, what have we seen is that the biggest memes actually control a huge amount of value. So because it's the logo of art blocks, the squiggle, and because it's so simple, deceptively, but it is the same on-chain generative art created by an algorithm. That's why I bought some squiggles, and actually the floor price like doubled on squiggles yesterday, because I think people understand the power of that meme and the power of that simplicity. So those are the two that I own right now. Full disclosure, Fidenza and some squiggles. But I'm fascinated with art blocks. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. Any final words of wisdom for the audience before we move on to some NFT metrics analysis? It's been such a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, I will say one thing about squiggles. I think I call them the shibboleth of AB. So they are symbols of membership inside the AB community. And I think that's really exciting. In terms of final words, I'll say that in this NFT boom that is being created, probably the smartest thing that you can do is to buy on-chain artifacts that are being created. As Ethereum becomes, as I said, as you mentioned, this book of truth, where all that matters is that a fact is written inside of Ethereum. The art based on that medium that become artifacts, the values will become astronomical. And so do your best to try to identify on-chain artifacts. And of course, you know my own stance. I believe that fidenzas are on-chain artifacts. But if you can do that, then it will withstand the test of time.
Amazing. I couldn't thank you enough for the knowledge you shared with me, helping me make a purchase that I certainly hope stands the test of time. Certainly, we're going to find out. I think the audience owes you a great debt, and thank you for sharing your knowledge. If you want to find more updates and more information from Han, please go over to Bonafide Han. I actually just added it to the description of this video. So if you refresh the page, you can see a link to his Twitter at Bonafide Han. Thank you so much for coming on. We hope to have you back soon, and we hope to see the growth and proliferation of the Art Blocks community and project over the coming days and weeks. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. See you.
Bye. Well, thank you so much to Han again. That was absolutely fantastic. If you guys enjoyed that, please smash the like button. But we're not done yet. Non-Fungible Tuesdays is just heating up. We went deep into art blocks, talked about the importance of these on-chain artifacts, code-driven art that is stored immutably and forever. It's pretty amazing when you think about we now have an eternal piece of imagery stored within a block of Ethereum. And that's a very, very interesting thing to be speculating on its value. Now we turn to what I think a lot of you are looking forward to, which is the experts who has been doing an amazing job at assembling all these different pieces of data, metrics tracking the growth and sometimes the contraction of prices of unique owners and all kinds of meaningful on-chain metrics for NFT collections. This right, the maverick of NFT metrics himself, Zeneca, is in the building with us. Please smash the like button and get excited for what I've been waiting for, which is Zeneca's total amazing daily drop of metrics. Thank you so much for joining us, Zeneca.
No, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm certainly excited for this. You've been doing these amazing data-driven metrics analyses on NFTs that you just can't find anywhere else. You have this stuff everywhere in DeFi. You have it on CoinGecko for traditional tokens, but to actually see like what is really going on in the guts of the projects and which projects are moving and catching steam, or which ones are actually have strong fundamentals but might be undervalued. All of these things can be analyzed and ascertained from good metrics, which is what you're doing. So I kind of want to just turn over the mic to you and say, well, this has been an absolutely ridiculous week, probably one of the biggest weeks in the history of NFTs, if not the biggest. What are you seeing from an on-chain metric standpoint?
Sure. Let me share my screen. I just want to say I was watching all of that, and I could listen to Han talk about art blocks for hours. It was, yeah.
Me too.
The
genuine love that Han has for art blocks is contagious, and it totally infected me. And so hey, I'm here. I'm part of it, and I can't wait to learn more from him.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So basically, this is my daily stats chart. I'll tweet this out every single day. What I essentially track is, as you can see on the top, floor prices and the number listed for sale. And below here, I look at unique owners. And as you said, it's been a crazy week, crazy couple of weeks, crazy month, really crazy 3 months. But I mean, this is tracking the 24 hours, but let's go back to, say, 10 days ago, the first of the month, and just we'll take a look at some numbers. You can see, where are we? Bored Ape Yacht Club, floor of 8.3. CryptoPunks, floor of 33. Let's get one more point of reference. What is there that's gone crazy? Avastars, 0.128. And then we fast forward 10 days. CryptoPunk's floor is almost 50, so that's, close to double. Bored Ape Yacht Club is 15. And then Avastars, where are we? Is triple, 0.3.
Is there any way we could zoom in a little bit? It's maybe I'm
in a little more.
Maybe I'm a boomer here, but yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all right. Might not be able to fit everything on, but yeah, you get the gist. Everything is basically 2x or more, or not quite 2x at the very top end, but in the last week to 10 days, it has just been going crazy. And I think we've been seeing institutional money start to flow into NFTs. I think a lot of people from traditional crypto, DeFi, they may have been sitting on the sidelines for a while, not sure if NFTs were going to take off, whether they'd become a big deal, or if it was just a passing fad. We saw with CryptoKitties in 2018, a lot of people loved it, and then no one really cared for a while later then. And I think what we've seen the last couple of weeks is that people are realizing, yes, you know what, NFTs are here to stay. There's real tech and value underlying them, and we want to get involved. They're seeing more and more people make tremendous amounts of money. And more than that, I think they're seeing all these projects like Art Blocks do wonderful, amazing, innovative, creative things with NFTs at the core of it. So yeah, we're just seeing tons of money flow in everywhere. You see it in the blue chips. So, CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, but we've seen, tons of these little meme, I could call them meme NFTs, but they're not really meme NFTs. They're sort of copycats, or they've seen the success of CryptoPunks and the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they're trying to create a community of their own. And for many of them, it's working because the demand is there. A lot of people want to be a part of, say, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but can't afford 15 ETH now, which is, it's unreasonable to expect many people to afford that. And what started out as an exclusive club, the Bored Apes, inclusive club, it was 0.08 to enter and buy an NFT, now has become exclusive just because of supply and demand metrics. And so you get all these little new projects like the Garter Cats, like the Sup Ducks, like, Party Penguins, Space. Literally a new one or two pops up every day. There's lizards, there's lions, pick any animal, go to a zoo, and someone's probably making or made an NFT project on it. Some of them are taking off, some of them are not. It's kind of what you were talking about with Han before, in terms of you can invest in blue chip art blocks and get a Fidenza, get a Squiggle, and you're going to have to pay more, or you can sort of try your luck and mint in one of these new projects, and it's like the small cap in coins. So, we can talk about a couple of examples. I
have some questions, right? First of all, there's been a couple of these that have really exploded. We have Fluff World and the Penguins were the two big standouts.
Yeah.
But what I'm really curious about, because I've started to really, I think the magic of crypto is if you could just rewind time 1 hour, you'd be rich, right? If you could rewind time a day, you'd be intergenerational, intergalactically rich. And if you could go back a week, well, you could own the whole world, right? But the thing that really excites me is trying to understand where this current rush is headed, because I think it's headed somewhere. But what I do know is, like you said, is what started with Bored Apes was very inclusive. It was 0.08 Ethereum. Ethereum was like half the price. So you're talking about like $100 to $200 to join this club, right? But the people who joined it and made it special didn't do so with the intention of getting rich. They did so because they liked it. They genuinely wanted to be a part of it. And like in the early Bored Ape days, I would go on their Discords or on their clubhouses, and it was just a bunch of grown men going, ooh, ooh, ah, 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 and making ape noises. And I was completely blown away as to the amount of excitement and love that they had for just being a part of this group. And that's what made me really go, there's something kind of crazy happening here. And this is really a community thing. However, those communities of idealists and early movers and people who are there just because they love it have now transitioned to more of a traditional model of people chasing gains. And you have a whole new crowd that has come in, and they are there to buy in with bots at the beginning, flip it hard, pump it, and we haven't really seen the dump yet. But are these types of things the new types of communities and how they're working? Is this reflected in the metrics you're seeing, like for something like a Fluff World, or versus like what you're seeing for Bored Apes? Are there meaningful metrics that you can look at and see the different types of communities here?
I'm not sure you can see the different types of communities per se, but you can definitely see price action that reflects the sort of dynamics that you were just talking about. And I went back to look, at previous days of my charts, because I wanted to create a chart of specifically the Fluff rabbits and the penguins. And I went back, let me try and find it, to the day when I added the rabbits to the chart. And where is it? It's here we go. So it's only 2 days ago, the 8th. I basically went back because I wanted to say, all right, they were at this point, and then they just took off. But literally from when they minted at 0.09 to the next day when I did this chart, they were already 20x. 1.7 is their floor. So that sort of explosive gain is kind of unheard of even in the NFT space. And then if we flick forward to today and find them, they're around here. So they're down to 0.7. So they've had a pretty significant pullback. And I think that's the thing we're probably going to start to see more of, where in the past, we had more organic growth, where as people found projects they liked and communities they liked, they bought in and they sort of bought one or two because they liked it and to stay. Now we're seeing more of, as you say, people coming in to make money and to flip and to just secure that profit, and that they'll use bots. I'm not convinced that there's a lot of botting going on, but there's definitely some of it. But if it's not bots, it's people who are tech savvy and know how to mint from the contract and mint large amounts with multiple wallets, and it's effectively the same. And they'll be minting tons and essentially dumping them on the less aware people at higher prices on the secondary market. And a really good way of telling when that's the case is, so we look at unique owners. If when a project sells out, the number of the distribution of NFTs to owners is such that a very few hold a very large percentage, then basically what's going to happen is the price is very likely going to dump. And we saw that with Sad Frogs District. So they launched yesterday, or maybe 36 hours ago. They had 7,000 NFTs, and here is 967 is how much they had yesterday. 1,501 is the number of holders they have today. So they picked up a ton of holders, but 1,500 holders for 7,000 NFTs is not that great of a distribution as in and of itself, let alone where they were yesterday with 900, let alone when they minted out at 500. So if we go back up and look at their price, we can see a crash. Here we go. So yesterday the floor was 0.3, today it's 0.12. So it's gone down, a pretty significant amount, over half.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the thing you have to be careful of. And if you're looking at getting into a new project, maybe it's your first NFT community and you want to be a part of it, just be careful of these situations where, one thing to look at is the transaction limit. How many can you mint in one go? If it's, say, with the frogs, it was 30, that means that a whale can sit there and mint 30, 60, 90 and get a ton of them before the average person can get one or two. Whereas some of the more successful projects, what they do is they try and limit the amount that anyone can mint to 5 or 3 or even 1 in some cases. And that gives a much more even distribution and more organic growth. So unique owners seems to be one of the most important statistics. Unique owners as a ratio to total items. So the higher the ratio of unique owners to total items, getting as close as you can to one item per user or per wallet is really the holy grail here for these collections, as that tends to imply that the project has a lot of genuine traction, right? Yeah, I mean, if you look at this example here, I'm highlighting the Bored Ape Yacht Club. They have over 50% unique owners. That means there's 10,000 NFTs, and the average person has less than 2. So what the effect of that is that most people who are part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, if they have one ape, they don't want to sell that ape. So the excess supply is dwindling rapidly. And so there's a few people who have multiple, and yes, maybe they'll sell one, but the demand is such that there just aren't enough apes to go around, so the price has skyrocketed. And so, yeah, you'll see that with lots of projects where as the unique ownership percentage goes up, price will follow. And something that I see as sort of an early indicator of when a project might take off is when the unique ownership number is going up lots and lots, but the price is sort of staying the same. And that's sort of like an accumulation phase where new people are finding the project, they're falling in love with it, they're buying on secondary, so they found some reason to like the project. And if the price isn't going up, it's probably the whales dumping or people who have excess dumping. Eventually they're going to run out of supply. So as long as that demand keeps up and it's there for a reason, the price is going to just take off and soar one day. A project that I think that's going to happen to, but I'm not 100% sure, of course, is Glue Factory Show. So they launched 24, 30 hours ago. I minted a ton, full disclosure, 70 of them, because I like the concept. They're basically making an animated show. It's like Stoner Cats, but I guess less A-list celebrities. The mint price was lower, and they minted for 0.1. The floor is around 0.1 still, so it hasn't taken off, but they picked up almost 1,000 new owners. Like they minted out at 1,900. I did my chart yesterday. They had 2,400. Now they're at 2,800. That is just a really good sign to me. So I think I've seen that in countless other projects where they accumulate. Like we saw that with Cool Cats, for example, around the 0.5, 0.6 mark. And then now they're sitting at double that or maybe a little bit more. And yeah, so you can definitely start to spot trends in these projects. And I mean, I put these numbers out every single day. If people study them, they can, find the same trends that I do. And I think that a lot of people think it's just pure gambling and, you just pick a donkey frog avatar project, whatever, and hope for the best. But you can really do some good research and get an edge, I think.
Yeah, and edge is exactly what people need, because when you start breaking it down, it's really hard on a non-subjective level to say, well, Pudgy Penguin is really worth 100x more than Top Dog Beach Club. It's so personal whether these cartoons kind of hit you in the emotional part of your art lover heart. It's not really clear, and so having some edge and some metrics is really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm actually live buying up the floor of of Glue Factory Show,
yeah,
because I believe that, and I've shared this a few times, I believe content is king when it comes to these, because over time, there's so much supply coming in, there's so much saturation coming in, that there has to be a reason why one collectible stays relevant, because in the end, there's just going to be a complete drowning of noise. Now, if you think about social media and just in general creators in the modern economy, look at Drake, right? He's the top creator in the music industry. He also puts out like 3 albums a year. And like also his volume, if you look back at, Eminem as a star, he would put out like maybe 1 album a year, and he wanted it to be the biggest album of all time. And he would be like lots of scarcity around the music. Now you look at someone like Drake, a new generation, and it's just hammering out track after track and keeping it super, super relevant. Now, I think that's what's going to happen with NFTs, which is I see as the Web3 version of content, right? This is a type of content that can actually be financialized in a very, very powerful way. And what you're seeing is the people who attach these NFTs, or I believe what you'll see, the people who attach these NFTs to content, whether that be gaming, whether that be TV shows, animation, physical merchandising, any form that the content has, that's going to be very, very, very powerful in making people continually engage with the assets. And so I think that that's going to be an interesting transition. And so I think, just in full disclosure, I've mentioned this, and when we started planning this, we didn't know about Stoner Cats, but I've been working with the lead animator at The Simpsons, and we've been planning exactly an NFT collection that is going to be the basis for characters of an animation, a network quality animation. So very exciting stuff. And I believe in this, the content is king ethos. And that's part of the gaming. My theories about gaming fits into that. But I see here you have the Pudgy Penguins price.
Yeah. We can talk about these fantastic utility projects, or we can talk about penguins.
Yeah, let's talk about penguins.
Let me just quickly echo what you said. And I completely agree that projects that can create content and add utility is where we're going to see the next 6 to 18 months headed. And I'm very bullish on gaming NFTs specifically. We've seen what's happened with Axie. We've seen what happened with Zedrun, and we're going to see more of that. So the penguins, for those who don't know, they're just a cute little collectible. There's, as far as I'm aware, not an animated show being planned. There's not a game behind it. It's just a cute avatar. And they minted out, I think the price was 0.03 or something. And what happened was, for a week, they gave you these eggs. So like you got an NFT egg, and it was like in a week they're going to hatch. And these delayed reveals are a relatively common thing in the NFT space. And what happens after they hatch or are revealed is that people will dump off their commons and not rare traded ones. And the ones that are super rare will sometimes fetch high prices. And then maybe the project takes off, maybe it fizzles out and people move on to the next thing because there's not significant substance behind it. With the penguins, we saw basically exactly that happen for a while. People sold off after the reveal. I think was around here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but just before the first. And people dumped, and then there was maybe a week, 4 or 5 days, where the price stayed at 0.15 ETH, 0.15. So tiny. And then just kind of out of nowhere, it's had this meteoric rise over the last few days where it's literally 100x'd. And I mean, I haven't been following it extremely closely, so I can't pinpoint exactly why it happened. Sometimes there's some X factor, lightning in a bottle effect. Some people are saying it's some orchestrated movement by people pumping it for, pumping their own bags and
shadowy supercoders.
Yeah, something to that effect. I know that there were rumors going around that the devs paid, shillers on TikTok and YouTube, which in and of itself, there's nothing necessarily wrong with paid advertising, but I did speak to the devs and they said that they didn't do any of that and it was all grassroots for whatever it's worth. But yeah, people have fallen in love with the penguins. And I mean, I see this crazy growth as unsustainable and inorganic. And I think that we're going to see a pullback it could go to 5 ETH for all I know. It probably won't. But I think we'll see people, as soon as certain people start dumping off and taking profits, people will see that and try to jump ship, I think. But I've been wrong before. I don't have a crystal ball. Maybe it'll keep mooning. If the community is strong and really rallies, then amazing things can happen. And community is the buzzword in the NFT space these last couple of months. So we will see.
Yeah, community is really everything, and it's backed up by the metrics. It's backed up by literally everything. Now, I guess what's a really interesting concept here is the tweet from Suzu of Three Arrows Capital that part of why he invested into CryptoPunks is investing into the meme economy. Now, we know memes have value. We know that they're shared. We know that they mean something to us. They meme something to us. And the question is, what does it mean to financialize memes or social artifacts? And this is like a really wild experiment we're all doing together. And what we know from Dogecoin and from these other meme coins is that this is very powerful, right? Except I would argue that the community that forms around these NFTs is stronger than the things that form around the meme coins. And so it's going to be very interesting to see. Again, I don't want to over dramatize any of this. This is super experimental and something going 100x like a Pudgy Penguins. I think it's what we should be doing is observing. What does it look like when big money rushes in to pump these things? And what's the effect? We're seeing a big cool down on the fluffs. That was to be expected. And what will happen now to the Pudgy Penguins? Are they that superior that they just keep pumping? Or is it something that will be kind of like IDOs where we saw these astronomical rises at the beginning and then pretty much decaying for several months for the most of them? So it's going to be a good data regardless. Again, we thank you so much for coming on the show. Any final words of wisdom or pieces of data you want to point out to people that might be just absolutely dying to get their foot in the door here in NFT land and don't know where to start?
I can't pinpoint a specific piece of data. I would say read these daily tweets. I also add commentary. So I'll add 10, 15 tweets often on the market that day, what's happened, why things have happened, if I have information on that. And I understand how daunting it is to get involved with NFTs. It's a steep learning curve. It is not easy. And there are a lot of projects like every day launching, and to pick the right one, part of it is just complete guesswork. Part of it is luck. You don't know which ones, like you can do a lot of research. You can think that the team is great, but if people don't rally behind it, and it might not take off. So yeah, I would just say have persistence. Like if you're interested in the NFT space and excited by it, the fact that you're here watching this, following this, and even know what an NFT is, like right now, you're so early that just you can be a bit patient. And one of my friends always likes to say, make haste slowly. You can take your time. You don't have to rush into the next project. NFTs are going to be around for decades. So if you get invested in 2021, you're going to be laughing, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if you need any, I believe NFTs will appeal to all kinds of normies. Normal people will trade NFTs as part of their online daily life. And if there's any indication how early we are, we have about an average of 20,000 people at most trading on OpenSea on a given day. 20,000 people as a fraction of our population is just nothing, right? And so it just shows you how early we are. But of course, we all know how things that are too early or super early can have moments of overexuberance and then also struggle. I really thank you for coming on. If you guys refresh the link to Zeneca 33's Twitter is linked in the description of this video. We hope to have you back very soon, as the data that you're drumming up here and helping us see through and cut through the noise here in the NFT space is invaluable. And you're doing great work, man. So thank you so much. And we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you.
Well, we have an amazing, amazing show already. We had Han from Art Blocks and now Zeneca giving us the data, helping us understand the importance of the Art Blocks project and now the data surrounding all of these other collections. And what we're going to do here is just kind of take a very brief overview of the NFT space. And we're going to give away some NFTs to you guys, the viewers of this channel. So make sure that you've gone here to my tweet that I highlighted at the beginning of the episode. It's the top tweet on my Twitter right now, which is linked in the description. Make sure you've put in your Ethereum address if you want to win. And we're going to be giving that away in just a few minutes. So make sure you get your Ethereum address in. Now, I did have the actual title of this video be 1,000,000% gains. That's not clickbait. That is the reality here. And this is from a tweet here from Akira saying, today I sold an Artblocks IO Squiggle for 313,000 US dollars, which I minted for 25 US dollars in December. Now, to be fair, they were very early on this trend, and Artblocks were certainly, this wasn't as ripe of a trend where gains were coming out like crazy. They were really early, they hodled, and now these things are going for crazy money. So they definitely deserve this hodl. However, it's still staggering to see a 1,000,000% return on anything. Nonetheless, this is what's going on right now in NFT land. So the question is, how far can this go? Now, my personal opinion, like I've expressed on previous episodes, is that you will see a correction because supply is coming in at an unprecedented rate. The ability to put out a cartoon or a JPEG and sell it into the NFT marketplace is very easy, and the barrier to entry is very low. So what we're seeing is more and more projects are coming into this industry, but there's the original projects that have historic value and were there early. I believe that those communities are filled with the diamond hands, the people who are going to stick around through thick and thin. Why? Because they were there before this was cool. They were there before this was a huge profitable trend. Now, the new people, the tourists or the NFT converts that really just heard you could make a bunch of money in NFTs, they're coming in, they're buying these JPEGs. Maybe they like them, maybe they don't, but they're really just hoping for gains. And those are the people who generally tend to disappear as soon as things get a little tricky. And we all know the deal. If you believe in a project long-term, you buy the dip and you hodl. Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of dip buying and hodling for people who maybe overspent on one of these hot trending avatar projects. I think a lot of the new projects that have launched within recent weeks, anything really after Bored Apes' success, I would think is susceptible to having a significantly lower quality of holder. Now, you look at the projects like CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, the pioneering projects here, and in my opinion, those communities are super diamond-handed and have a very, very long-term view, especially when you think of a community like Artblocks that Han introduced us to. These collectors believe in this stuff long-term. You could hear the passion in Han's voice. That's unmistakable, and I know for a fact he's going to be holding on to his fidenzas for a very long time. So what happens to a market when no one's willing to sell, even during the hard times? Well, it's a lot harder for it to dump down. So that's my prediction, is that the blue chip, if you will, the OG collections, Artblocks, CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and other significant one-of-ones by big crypto artists, those particular assets will probably end up strengthening if there's a crash in the newer avatar projects, because you have all this new bubbly money, kind of like you see with the altcoin to Bitcoin and Ethereum markets. A lot of this money gets made in new projects, and then it gets converted into Ethereum and Bitcoin for long-term holding. I see the same relationship that you could draw with the original projects, the Bored Apes, the CryptoPunks, the one-of-ones, and Artblocks, and then you see these other projects, the newer ones that are getting hype, but those new gains will probably be funneled by savvy investors back into those longer term projects, the ones that are more guaranteed to hold and grow in value. That's my theory. If you guys are excited, you learned something from that theory, please smash that like button. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It really helps grow the channel. Now, I wanted to show one really big announcement that has just been put out by Superfarm. Now, this is something I've been looking forward to for quite a while, which is graffiti artist Katoon, who has done amazing work across the world, notably has done cover art and other types of art for Chris Brown and other big celebrities, but they are an awesome street artist from Malaysia. And they are going to be dropping a limited edition as well as an open edition that are evolutionary NFTs on Superfarm. This is the first Superfarm NFT art drop, and I'm really, really excited for it. And so the way this is going to work here is that this event will feature an NFT drop as well as the distribution of physical artworks, as well as the evolutionary NFTs. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, this is the first time where the actual NFTs for Superfarm's Genesis set, as well as the Elio Trades NFTs, will get fast pass access. So if you're holding one of the Superfarm or Elio Trades NFTs, you can get whitelisted, but it's important that you get there right when the announcement is made so you can get on the whitelist early, and then you'll get your dice roll to get into the fast pass. Now, all of this was outlined back when we first released these NFTs, but if you have a legendary, you'll get a 90% chance of fast pass access. 50% chance with an epic, rare 30%, uncommon 20, and common 10. So we're going to be doing a dice roll and determining your whitelist access based on when you sign up and then if you rolled your access. So you're definitely going to want to get your whitelist access because I believe this is a very, very cool drop that people will be talking about. Now, what is the drop? Well, the first is a piece called Apes Stand Strong. Now, this Apes Stand Strong piece will be a 1 of 50 edition, and they will be released at 1 ETH each. And the purchasers will receive a physical copy of a print that is numbered after a 2-month holding time. So you can trade these around, you can collect it on the secondary, but whoever's holding these after 2 months will get a physical print delivered to them. And I absolutely love this. This ape character, by the way, is a signature character from Katoon that he's been doing for many years as a graffiti artist and for his prints. The second piece, the open edition, is going to be something called Mystical Fruits here. And I absolutely love this aesthetic here. And that will be available for 0.1 ETH, and it'll be an open edition. So for a certain period of time, you'll be able to show up and mint. There's not going to be a whitelist for this. Anyone can come and mint this open edition. Now, where this gets fun and evolves is that we actually have a 1-of-1 edition for the Ape Stand Strong, which was the Inferno edition. So one lucky winner will actually get this airdropped, a 1-of-1, just by holding the Inferno edition, or just by holding, the Ape Stand Strong here. One of the 50 holders using RNG, we will determine and airdrop a 1-of-1 here, this Inferno edition. So really cool chance to earn a 1-of-1 by an amazing artist. And Katoon has a massive following here. As you can see, they've got over 100,000 followers, or they've got almost 100,000 followers, and get amazing views. This is the animated version of this final piece in the set. Now, what's really cool here is that I'm actually almost most excited for the open edition because 20% of all of the mystical fruits, which is this one, 20% of these will automatically be turned into Garden of Bloom. So 1 in 5 mystical fruits will, after a certain period of time, automatically evolve. The metadata will evolve to switch into this Garden of Bloom piece. So it's a really cool drop here with an amazing artist and the evolutionary growing concept here. And it's happening only on Superfarm, and it uses the Superfarm NFT utility. Very, very exciting stuff. I'll go ahead and link this article in the description of this video so anyone can check it out. I highly recommend that you have a look. So it's now in the video description if you refresh. And finally, I wanted to go through here. Oh yeah, I just showed this. And finally, we're going to do what everybody is excited for. If you guys have been enjoying this episode, by the way, I'd appreciate it if you smash those like buttons. We have almost 1,800 people in the house, far less likes than people in the house. So let's go ahead and destroy that like button. If you guys are getting value out of this, I personally think this is one of the best episodes of the LEO Trades channel that we've made. So big thank you to Han, big thank you to Zeneca, and big thank you to the whole NFT community for making this so special. So as you can see, I got one of my transactions rejected here. I was trying to buy up the Horse Glue Factory Live as Han was talking about it. As you can see, I have one in my collection here. But I also bought something called Crypto Art, which is arguably an even earlier version of art blocks on-chain generative art. Now, I don't have the full story here, but this goes kind of with the theme of what Han was talking about early on-chain artifacts. Now, these particular artifacts of crypto art are actually way less expensive than most of the art block stuff. So they have a floor here. Oh, wow, it's been going up. So it's actually been making a nice little run here. It was 0.13 when I saw it this morning, and I bought up a few. But yeah, so this is a wonderful project here. I don't actually know how to value these, but I figured I'd just buy a few in case these things become priceless treasures. Who knows? Again, I'm not here to say what will become valuable. I'm just trying to explain the trends and give you guys some scopes and understanding of how others are viewing them so you can make good decisions. Again, you have to do your own research. None of this is financial advice, and all of this is super experimental and risky. So remember that. But with that in mind, let's do something fun. Let's go to my portfolio here and let's give away a few of these crypto art generative pieces that I just picked up this morning because, hey, looks like they're going up in value. Who knows? Maybe this is a massive bull run on these. Either way, a few of you out there are going to get some crypto art for free. So let's go ahead, make sure that you have your Ethereum address commented below this. I'm going to refresh it. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds or so to make sure that you've had a chance to put in your address below this. And then we're going to refresh and give away some art blocks or some crypto art rather. If you guys are excited, destroy that like button. And of course, we're about to begin. All righty. And I'm going to give a refresh now. Okay. And let's do this. I don't have or I guess I could do a random comment picker here on YouTube, but or on Twitter, but I'm just going to do it the old fashioned way, cover my eyes or yeah, here, we could do this even better. We'll do this. So we'll use a Google RNG, pick a number 1 through 10. That's how many seconds. I'm going to close my eyes and scroll and we get 4. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. The question mark. And this is your Ethereum address. Make sure to send me one. I love the content. Would be nice to get lucky too. Look at you getting lucky. Big shout out. Everyone smash like for Mr. Question Mark. And let's go ahead and get him a piece of crypto art. Crypto arte, if you will. And let's transfer. Invalid address. Oh, there we go. OpenSea does not like spaces. Ooh, gas is expensive today. And you love when gas gets expensive because it's the smell in the air of Ethereum burning. You just gotta love the smell of ETH on fire. Seriously, who doesn't like that? Absolutely fantastic. Big shout out. Congratulations to Question Mark. And we're back at it with another giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. So make sure if you haven't put your Ethereum address that you do and that you retweet. Let's go ahead and generate. We have 1. So hopefully you're near the top here with a 1 second RNG. Let's go ahead and see who wins. All right. And 1 Mississippi. No, that was Question Mark again. Sorry. I'm not going to do that. And okay, 1 Mississippi. Here we go. I hope I win. Luis Castro. Did you win last time, Luis Castro? I feel like you did. And I feel like you're spamming. I feel like you spammed this last. Yeah, you spammed this, bro. You spammed and you won last time, but I don't think I like that tactic, dude. No, you spammed me last time and I saw it. Sorry, dude, but it's unfair. So we're gonna unfortunately disregard that because you spammed. And here we go. NF10D, thanks for all the information. JRoss2220, let's get you some crypto arte. Is it arte or art? It's probably art. I like arte. Sounds fancy. All righty. Let's go ahead and transfer this to you. And make sure that this is the right address. 953, 953. Let's make it happen. Ooh, it's expensive to send these NFTs today. Gotta love it. I bet these ETH burns are going to start getting crazy ETH burns. Alrighty. Modern art punks is overlooked. Maybe. All right, guys. I have a lot of super chats to get to. I'm going to answer some super chats. Hopefully I can get to them. I apologize, guys. I had a lot to go through this episode, so I didn't get to answer all of the super chats. So I'm going to see if I can get up and get through them, as there have been a lot of fantastic super chats, and I don't want to ignore people who have super chatted. Let me quickly address these. Okay. Long-time listener, first-time caller, what are your thoughts on the different variants of punk NFTs, for example, fast food or baby punks? I think derivative punks are going to continue being a trend. It's really hard to see what their value is because there's so many of them. I think on meme value, baby punks and fast food punks look cool. But the reality is I have no idea how to value them. They're very, very experimental. The one thing I do think that is clear is that they do actually drive value back to the original punks. So I think the more derivative projects they're actually the more valuable the original project becomes. So derivatives are good for original value. I have no idea if derivatives are good for their own new value. Cheapeth by George Hotz is a fork of ETH with lower gas fees. Cheap ETH. Okay, cool. Thank you. Interesting. All right. It seems as though it won't let me actually go back in time to see the super chats. I apologize, guys. There's no way I can view these. So I apologize if your super chat didn't get seen. Thoughts on Exceed Me, a gaming tournament coin? Yeah, look, I personally am not super bullish on gaming tournament coins or esports coins. I think that there's a lot of competition there, but who knows? Maybe some will win big. I personally, though, have my doubts. That's my personal opinion. Well, anyway, guys, this has been a fantastic show. 1,800 of you guys in the house. If you guys like this show, please do me a favor and destroy that like button. As always, we're going to be bringing you weekly non-fungible Tuesdays, but you guys know the drill. We're covering NFTs every single day here because in reality, this is the most important, in my opinion, revelation and change for the crypto industry. I'm personally getting hit up nonstop by celebrities, artists, brands, people who want to get into NFTs and just don't know what to do. And so I can tell you from behind the scenes that what's bubbling underneath the surface of NFTs is an absolute avalanche, a tidal wave, a tsunami of marketplace activity and innovation. And what's going to happen with NFTs as they get integrated into social media, into Twitter, into Instagram, that's going to be one of the biggest changes to our society as these assets become our digital calling cards, our digital, the way that we show what we actually put our money behind in the digital world. I mean, how much effort do people go through to take really exotic and important Instagram photos showing off their trips and their foods and all the different things in their life? Well, imagine if you could show off your status right through your NFT purchases, and you could also belong to communities based on who supports these things. It's a very interesting thing that's going to change our online lives, and it's going to be a massive, massive industry. Whatever happens is very clearly going to change the future of our online lives. And that's why right now is such a historic period for NFTs and things like art blocks, things like collectibles like Bored Apes, and things like Pudgy Penguins even. They are all historic in their own way. And so you are participating in history just by being here, and that is something very special. Now, of course, be careful, do your own research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, as a lot of this stuff is probably going to crash and be worth zero. So be very careful. But it's an extremely, extremely exciting and interesting ride we're on. Big thank you over to Bonafide Han. Big thank you to Zeneca. Make sure you guys follow them. Links are in the description. As always, we're going to be bringing you daily, sometimes twice a day content. So make sure you subscribe and put that bell notification on so you're made aware whenever we put out new content. As always, my name's Elio Trades. You can find me on Twitter at Elio Trades. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.